What's going on, everybody? Joe from Total Justice Gaming here. Today's video is going to be a Buddy Tech review. Today we're looking at the Danger World Tyrant deck that I piloted this week. You guys seem to really like that fight video between Four's Purgatory Knights and my Tyrant deck, so we are going to just hop right into it. So right off the bat, the Buddy is, of course, Tyrant Cerberus because of his effects. So we will show how we go. So, Buddy, of course, as I just said, is Tyrant Cerberus. So, of course, we're going to be running 4 copies of him. He is, of course, a 626, call cost of a gauge. When he enters the field, search your deck for a Tyrant item and put it into your hand and then shuffle your deck. As you guys saw in the video, I was having a little bit of trouble getting items in my hand. This deck is edited since the video, but Tyrant Cerberus is there to help make sure that we get those cards and make sure that we are equipped, because the large majority of the deck and how it functions really does center around weapons. So we definitely play 4 of him. Next up, we play 4 Tyrant Jin. Tyrant Jin is, of course, a size 1. He's a 3/2/2 with the ability of life recovery wish. Whenever a weapon on the field just attacks, you gain 2 life. Only activates once per turn. We really need life in the deck because we sacrifice life and pay life quite a bit for various effects, most notably for weapon attacks. And having Jin on the field is an absolute must at all times, if possible. Next, I got 1 copy of Tyrant Griffin. Tyrant Griffin lets me gain a life every time I attack. Its call cost is pay gauge. It's a 5/1/5 with double attacks. That means I could potentially gain 2 life every time I attack. Followed up with that, we got Tyrant Minotaur. As you guys saw, it was the first time playing the deck, and I was kind of rushed. I was kind of asking people during locals. We have a pretty loose locals here. It's like, hey, what do I do? And I was getting talked to by some of the guys about what we're doing later for videos. So you guys did see me in my match against Steven and his Crimson Fist. I kept forgetting to stand Minotaur. He is really useful, though, at a 5/2/4. Call cost is pay gauge. When you gained life this turn, he gains plus 2,000 and a crit, making him a 7/3/4, which is really, really good. Really good numbers. I also really like being able to play him first turn and then just play a spell that'll give me life for that early 3 damage swing. Next up, we are playing Tyrant Diablo, size 2, 6/3. Counter ability of activation of if you have a Tyrant item equipped, you can pay 2 life. If you do, destroy size 2 or less on the opponent's field. You can only use this once per turn, so he's pretty good field control. A little low on the defense, but he does have his uses, making sure that we can clear out the center to swing with the weapon, or just control a monster that's really annoying us and just blow him right up. I run 2 of him currently. I know that this is kind of frowned upon right now. Guys, keep in mind that this is a traded deck. I did not build this myself, and I will be going to the shop to try and trade for more of these, but right now I'm only running 1 Tyrant Healer. Tyrant Heal is when this card enters the field. If you have a weapon equipped, I gain a life, and if I have another Tyrant on the field, I draw a card. This is very, very easy to get the gain a life, draw a card effect with her. I definitely do need more than just 1 of her. So, in future decks, if I can get this updated, and I do an update video, expect to see more of her. She's really good and really, really important. Next up, I run 3 Tyrant Eagle. Tyrant Eagle is a 4/2/1 with the ability of if you have a Tyrant equipped, reduce it to a size 0. When I gain a life, put a card from the soul of a monster's field into the drop zone. It only activates once per turn, which is fine. My meta is actually pretty soul heavy right now, so this card is a godsend. And being able to have a size 0 out just for having a Tyrant out for that extra bit of damage, really, really good. which is why I'm only running 3 of it. I am also running 1 copy of Tyrant Ashura, I believe is his name. Destruction, Sky, Subject, yeah. Tyrant Ashura. So 5852 or 825, excuse me. A little bit of a bumble there. Call cost is paid 2 gauge. Put the top card of your deck into this unit's soul. If you have 5 or more life, he gets penetrate. If you have 5 or less life, he gains a crit and gets double attack. Really, really good. It's very, very easy to trigger both effects in this deck. You have a lot of ways to pay life. You have a lot of ways to gain life. So he is really, really good. I do want to try and run maybe 1 more of him, but I'm actually pretty satisfied at running him at a 1 of. For impact monsters, we are running 4 copies of Cerberus Violence Gazer. The 836 call cost to pay 2 and put a tyrant monster from your field to your drop zone. Pretty easy to do. And then he gains crit equal to your weapon. So that last ditch swing, if they still have a good chunk of life left, he is really, really helpful. If you force their hand to use up all the shields and you get weapons out that have high crit, or you pay to give it a high crit, he is your dude. I got him all the way up to, I believe, a 10 one game. It wasn't caught on thing. It was my first time playing the deck, just so I can get used to it. But I got him up to a 10. Really, really good. Next up, weapons. We are now running 4 Fang Spear Axe Ogre Demon Slay. It's a tyrant weapon. Quick causes pay gauge, counter ability, activate during your turn. May pay up to 5 life. If you do this turn, this card gets a crit equal to the number of life you paid. You may only use this ability once per turn. So you can pay up to 5, make it a 7, play dual gaze, or get a 10. You saw what I was doing. I was not paying up to the full life every turn. I was only paying up to what I really needed. I really, really like this weapon. It's just really, really good. I was initially only running 3 of it in the tournament. As you guys saw in the video, I was having trouble pulling the weapons, so I now bumped this up to a 4 of. Next up, we got the promo that came out recently. Descending Ruinous Deity Dragon Lord. Really, really good tyrant weapon. It is for both Danger World and Dragon World. Quick cost is 1 gauge, and when it attacks and deals damage to your opponent, you gauge 1 and you gain a life. The gaining a life is really good because that triggers multiple abilities on our monster. We always need gauge, which is very, very necessary because the large majority of our creatures require it. I'm only running 3 of it. Again, this was a 6, 3 and 3, but I'm still keeping this at 3 because the priority weapon is, of course, Ogre Slay. But still, this is really, really good. Moving on to spells, I'm running 4 Shredding Battle Wall. It says gain a life, nullify the attack, can only be used if you have a weapon equipped. So I don't have to worry about an open center. I just need a weapon equipped, which is much easier now. Gaining a life and nullifying the attack speaks for itself. We also are running 4 Insanity Circle. Insanity Circle is I need to only during the opponent's turn, only if I don't have a monster in the center, and I have a Tyrant on the field, I can nullify the attack, gain a life, and I have a weapon equipped. This card cannot be nullified. Quite a bit of restrictions. You got to have an open center and a Tyrant on the field. Very easy to do because you're going to keep your center open the majority of the time anyways because you need the free swing spot for the weapon. All the cards in the deck for field plays, such as monsters and items, are all Tyrants. So this is actually, even though you need 2 specific requirements to use it, it's very easy to do. Really, really good. Next up, we have Deep Qui-Gong of the Hungry Wolf. Gain 2 life, and if your opponent's life is 4 more, you gain 6 additional life. So I had to have this explained to me because I wasn't quite understanding it, but you gain 2 life, then it checks for the life difference. If you meet the requirements, you gain an additional 6, meaning you can gain up to a total of 8. Really, really good card. As anybody that played this deck knows, you're going to be paying life almost constantly if you have Ogre Slay Axe on the field. So this card's an absolute godsend. It also triggers some of the guys that say if you gain life. Really, really good. Then we're doing a Mass Spinning Aura. I play 4 of it because I need Gauge. Put the Gauge 1. If you have 6 life or less, I draw a card. 6 life or less is, of course, really easy to do in this deck because, as I keep saying, we keep paying life. We get to Gauge a card. Really, really good. Next up, I am running 3... Training of Skill and Life. Originally I was running the Gauge card of Pay X Life, Gain X Gauge. I never really used that card though because I always had decent Gauge cards anyways. So I replaced it with this card just recently. I can only play it if I have a weapon equipped. I get to Gauge 2 and I gain a life, which really, really good. And then finally, we are running 2 Fang Dragon Declarations. This is you only cast this card when only 1 card on your field is attacking, and when your opponent casts a spell card. So it's got to be a single attack with the lone monster, and it's when they cast a spell card. You pay 2 and gain a life, and pay a life, pay 2 and pay a life, and counter the spell the opponent's taking. So this is going to nullify shields for that final hit. I did it to 4 in the opening of the first match, or the third match in the video, if you saw, which made him go down to 3 almost immediately. Of course, Fuller, being the really good buddy fighter that he is, came back on me immediately and got that game, but it was all or nothing, as most of this deck really is. So that is my Tyrant deck. If you guys like this deck, by all means, please like and subscribe to Total Justice Gaming, because we are trying to make sure we give you BuddyFight content all week, or at least 5 days out of the week. And if you guys like this deck, please, by all means, build on your own. Leave your comments. If you're missing cards, head on over to thecardacademy.net. We got a great selection. If you're interested in see what's coming up in Tyrants in future sets, head on over to Buddyspoiler. They are really good at letting you guys know what's coming up with the current meta and what cards are what. So, as always, guys, thank you for watching. My name is Joe, and we'll see you next time.